Ladies and gentlemen, we are one short day away from the most exciting night in the NFL offseason, the 2021 NFL Draft.
And in a mock draft season that has been full of fun, suspenseful, and exciting scouting of so many prospects that this could turn out to be one of the more stacked NFL draft classes in recent memory.
And it is time for us, the SteelTwins, to present to you our final Pittsburgh Steelers 2021 NFL mock draft.
The finale. So let's get right into it. In the first round with the 24th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina. 5'10", 212. Okay, this guy has the size and the body of a Pittsburgh Steelers running back, and that's not the only thing that aligns himself as a Steelers running back. Just the way this guy plays and how complete he is, man. He is, in our opinion, our number one running back. I would take this guy over Najee Harris, who I think, if he gets past Miami, will be a Steeler. I would take this guy over Travis Etienne, just because I think he's more complete than both of them. And not to mention, this man just turned 21 years old this past Sunday.
So he's got a lot of time left in him when it comes to running backs, because we all know how it is with running backs in the NFL. They don't tend to last long. So with him being 21 years old,
he's got more long span than some of the older running backs, like a Najee Harris, who will be 23 and a half years old come the start time of the NFL season. Javonte Williams, like I said, is, in my opinion, our number one running back in this class and is the most complete running back in this draft class.
The guy just has it all, dude.
Now, he doesn't have a lot of great long speed like a ETN would have, but that has never affected the Steelers from going running back. And a guy like Javonte is, I mean, he's so well advanced in pass protection, that alone makes him a day one, 3-down back.
And that's something that we desperately need, because right now, when you look at our roster, we don't have a day one starting running back, or even right now, a starting caliber running back. That's something that we desperately need. And that's something that we need to give Ben Roethlisberger.
And that's not the only thing that he is so well advanced at, man. He has great strength, incredible contact balance. Again, he's phenomenal in pass protection. He can work in the receiving game. He has no problem splitting reps, as he did it phenomenally with Michael Carter over there in North Carolina. They were one of the more, probably the most aggressive rushing attack last year.
But Javonte Williams, man, he just has it all. He has absolutely everything that you would want in a typical and old-school Steelers running back. The guy is someone that will run you over, knock you down, someone that can move the chains for you, something that we freaking need.
And someone that is not easy to take down. This guy just speaks Pittsburgh Steelers to me. My only concern is that they have shown minimal to no interest in Javonte. Now, compared to Najee and Etienne, where they sent the house to each of their pro days, they only sent one scout, running back coach Eddie Faulkner. Like I said, minimal to no interest. Now, if he turned out to be the only running back on the board, because it could be possible that both guys are gone.
Yeah, Najee and Etienne. Najee could go to Miami or the Jets, or Travis Etienne with the same teams.
Now, do I see that happening? No. Do I see them taking Javonte over either of them? No. But Javonte is my guy this year, okay? I wanted J.K. Dobbins last year, okay? Now, of course, we didn't get him, and I'm not complaining because we got Big Play Clay over there from Notre Dame in the second round. But Javonte is my guy this year, okay? He is my number one back this year. He is one of my top guys this draft class. If there's a running back we're going to take, that's my guy, just because he's young, he's so complete, he breathes Pittsburgh Steeler, man, and I'm going to steal one from Dave Bautista.
Give me what I want!
Steelers, please. We need a day one starting running back, and this guy can absolutely be your guy. Someone that is young, talented, physical, and full of top-notch potential, man. Get this guy as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and your rushing game will drastically change.
Now,
no doubt.
Now, of course, running back in the first round may not be the most popular to a lot of Steelers fans. They might want to go offensive line first round.
In which I totally agree. Now, if you ask us, we think we should go offensive line in the first round. But looking at our situation right now with the team, we have no day one starting running back. When it comes to Etienne, Harris, and Williams, they're all day one starters, no doubt. But when you
after them, there's a significant drop in the running back class.
And those guys, now I like those guys. Carter, Kylan Hill, Trey Sermon. I'm really high on Trey Sermon. But those type of guys, they're not day one starters. We need a day one starter.
And that's why I think running back is going to be the most realistic pick in the first round unless certain guys are there at other positions.
Of course.
But I am sold, and I have mentally prepared myself that running back will be the pick of 24. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, if you ask me this year, I am absolutely okay with it. Because when you look at the later rounds when it comes to offensive line, it's absolutely stacked. It's actually the better stacked position than running back in the later rounds.
And the way the Steelers are setting themselves for the offensive line, they already have faith in Chuck Okorafor and Zach Banner. So those guys will be, in my opinion, the starting offensive tackles for the start of the season.
Right, or even at center with B.J. Finney. At least they're somewhat prepared when it comes to the offensive line. Now, running back, they're not prepared. They have absolutely nobody.
Right. But that's why, even center, we could go center first round, but I don't think there's a center worthy of going in the first round.
No.
Unless it was a healthy Landon Dickerson. Of course, he can't stay healthy. But that's why we save center for the second round with the 55th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Quinn Miners, center at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, 6'3", 320. This, in my opinion, is the most realistic pick for the Steelers at 55, just based on need, interest, and value.
And just the type of talent this guy possesses in a center.
Yes, he comes from a Division III school, but I'm not going to hold that against him. Because this guy, even at the Senior Bowl against top competition, impressed majorly to the point where the Steelers sent more than one scout to his pro day, including offensive line coach Adrian Clem, who worked him through drills.
And Adrian Clem is a guy that said
he wants to get strong and physical and aggressive at the offensive line.
And that's something that needs to come back to the Steelers' offensive line. And Quinn Miners is definitely one of those guys that can bring that immediately. Quinn Miners is an absolute freak. He's an absolute monster. I think he has a boatload of potential at center. I really do.
This guy's mean, physical. He comes from a small school, which the Steelers love their small school guys. He can run block, works in pass protection greatly, can get to the second level, create lanes. This guy, I think, realistically could be our next center.
And I'd be absolutely okay with it.
Again, I think the most realistic option at 55, just based on need, value, and interest from the Steelers. Quinn Miners fits that perfectly. Would I take other centers? Absolutely. But I'm going Quinn Miners just based on their interest. Now, in the third round, with the 87th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Tommy Tremble, tight end out of Notre Dame.
Now, it's actually surprising that the Steelers in free agency so far have not signed a number 2 tight end, because that's all we need. We already have our number 1 in Eric Ebron, obviously.
Unless they are waiting until after the draft for what I would say Jesse James, which I'm okay with.
But when it comes to this year, maybe they're finally, after so many of us Steelers fans asking them and begging them to draft a tight end early, because we have not had a very successful tight end since Heath Miller, obviously.
In fact, I don't think we've gone tight end early. The earliest that we've gone tight end in recent memory was Matt Spaeth in the third round in 2007, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And that's
14 years.
That's been a long freaking time. I think we are long overdue for selecting a tight end real early.
And Tommy Tremble is just perfect at 87. He is probably, in my opinion, the best blocking tight end in this draft class. But he was so underutilized at Notre Dame, he has potential as a receiving weapon in the NFL.
And his receiving skills are vastly underrated.
Good hands, strong guy, pretty athletic, can get up the middle of the field. He was used more as in a blocking role, which is his best fit. But as a receiving threat, vastly underrated, underutilized. I think that's where we can utilize that. Start him at number 2, behind Ebron, of course, and then move him up as the number 1 in future years.
Absolutely.
Tommy Tremble is another one of our guys this year, is someone the Steelers have shown interest in, and with the signing of Vince Williams back, that adds flexibility for us to go a position earlier than we anticipate. Tight end is one of those positions.
Yes, it is. And a guy like Tremble in the third round would be phenomenal.
If he's there, would be phenomenal.
It would be phenomenal.
Now, in the fourth round, the Steelers obviously have 2 fourth rounders. With the 128th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Shaun Wade, defensive back, the Ohio State. Some of you guys may not be liking this pick just because he did not impress at all last year.
No, if you look at last year's tape, it is not the best whatsoever.
No, it's not. I know he got absolutely destroyed by quality competition last year, especially the Heisman winner and Javonte Smith.
Yeah.
But people forget, man, this guy is best utilized as a slot corner, as a nickel corner. People also forget the reason why he was pushed outside last year is because the Buckeyes lost Jeff Okudah and Arnett last year in the first round.
Yes, they did.
At the same time.
So Wade was pretty much forced to play outside, and he is not an outside corner whatsoever.
Obviously. Now, he was getting first-round hype as a slot corner and, had high hopes when he was being moved outside before the beginning of last season. Obviously, he did not impress, which turns out that it is best that he move in the nickel position at the next level or even at safety. If you want to look at it this way, he's our starting slot corner with Hayden and Sutton outside. He could also play safety if needed be. So he could also be safety depth. That's something we could experiment later. But initially, he'd be the starting slot corner, and I think this guy could be a phenomenal slot corner in place of Mike Hilton.
Absolutely. He's got a ton of upside. He's got a lot of talent. He has versatility, and what the Steelers love in their defensive backs. And I feel like if you use him in that safety/nickel corner hybrid type of role, I think Shaun Wade could really be something with this Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
For sure.
I do.
Especially with his blitzing ability, strong tackling ability. And I know his tape is very up and down, even with him in the slot. It's very up and down, but he's more promising in the slot. That's where he needs to play at the next level. Maybe safety with a specific team and scheme, but with us, he'd be the perfect nickel guy. And I think he dropped just because he did not impress whatsoever last year outside, which is why he's limited as a slot corner only, which is where he fits best.
And which is all we need right now.
Now, with the 140th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Walker Little, offensive tackle out of Stanford, another guy who got first-round hype. After impressing in 2017 and 2018, he got first-round hype until, of course, he went out the first game of the 2019 season. And even so, he was still getting first-round hype. But he opted to return to Stanford for 2020, but then ultimately opted out, which definitely hurts his stock. He was getting first-round talks last year, come draft time. He went back to Stanford, then opted out, which means he hasn't played any football in nearly 2 years, which is why I think he drops.
Which I can definitely see.
Which is where we get him in the fourth as, I'd say, a potential steal. I've been high on Walker Little for a little while now as a guy we scouted last year. And then getting him in the fourth here, late fourth, would be a steal because obviously he wouldn't start day one with Chucks and Banner locking down the starting tackle positions initially. But he can get back in the groove of the game, of course. At the young age of still only 22, and I believe would eventually take over as a starting left tackle.
Yeah, and another thing to add here, he actually has some NFL bloodlines, believe it or not.
People forget that. His granddaddy played in the 50s, as well as his granddaddy's uncle.
So he has some NFL bloodline to him, and we all know the Steelers love their bloodline type of prospects when it comes to the NFL draft. And a guy like Walker Little in the fourth round to be competition for, I assume, Chucks, but more likely just to be the backup, and then you have him marinate and learn under Adrian Clem, and more likely have him develop him into a starter potentially for years to come, I think it'd be perfect.
I'd say so. The Steelers have had success with Stanford offensive linemen before. Look at David DeCastro.
Absolutely.
This guy in the fourth, if he lasts, which I think is possible just due to the fact he hasn't played since the start of 2019, would be a steal right there. And it would fix a void at the offensive line. Initially depth, great depth, but then work his way as an eventual starter.
Now, in the sixth round, with the 216th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Patrick Johnson, edge rusher from Tulane.
This is a guy I'm actually pretty high on. He comes from another small school. This guy actually reminds me of Alex Highsmith a little bit. Maybe not as good, but can definitely be great outside linebacker depth behind Highsmith and Watt. One great stat about Johnson is that he is currently the school record holder in sacks with, I believe, 24.5, and he led the team in sacks his last 3 years, including 2 double-digit sack seasons, which is, I believe he's also the first to do that in school history.
Which is pretty impressive.
So this guy knows how to get to the quarterback, and he's great at run defending as well. This guy reminds me a little bit of Alex Highsmith. Comes from a small school, impresses a lot as an outside linebacker. Obviously would rotate, which is perfect for him.
Yeah, and that's fine and Danny. All we need is outside linebacker depth.
But he'd be a great rotational piece for Watt and Highsmith, who can stop the run, and I'd say even has an arsenal of ways to pressure the quarterback.
No doubt.
Johnson's another late guy I like as edge depth, and I think would be great value here and a great rotational piece.
Of course.
Now, in the 7th round, they have 2 7th-rounders with the 245th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Grant Stewart, linebacker out of Houston. We finally go linebacker. It's a little late, but with the signing of Vince Williams back and the possibility of Robert Spillane possibly getting some starting time since he has a little experience from last year, and possibly the re-signing of Avery Williamson, nothing is confirmed, but I could see them re-signing him after the draft, especially if they do go linebacker a little late to secure extra depth and extra security as starting, in terms of starting-wise. But Grant Stewart, he's 6 foot, 230, he's undersized, but man, does this guy have a motor to him. This guy would be a great special teams ace alongside Miles Killebrew and would be solid inside linebacker depth.
No doubt.
One asset I like about this guy is, and you can see it on his tape, not only is he good in run defending, but he never gives up on a play. That's what you need in a special teams ace. Strong tackler, again, good in run defending, and I'm just going to put it out there. He's very easy to spot with that head of hair of his.
Yeah, I will say this right here. He's got a miraculous head of hair. He really does.
And he's someone Colbert has interacted with, and honestly, if they wanted to find a special teams gem late in the 7th,
you can't go any better than Grant Stewart, man. Grant Stewart in Houston on special teams, in which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he had over 500 reps in special teams in Houston. I could be completely wrong on that, but I think I heard that somewhere.
Which tells me he's very experienced. Now, that's probably the ceiling for him at the next league, but that's perfect for him, and we need special teams help. We need all the special teams aces we can get.
And with his motor and his arsenal and how he is on the field, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Now with the Pittsburgh Steelers' final selection, the 254th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Marquez Stevenson, wide receiver out of Houston.
We go 2 straight Houston guys. It's just, I can see Colbert totally going receiver late in the draft just because he can't help himself. He's always got to go receiver at some point.
Yeah, obviously we don't really need wide receiver whatsoever. But even when we didn't need receiver, it still hasn't stopped Colbert or the Steelers whatsoever from selecting a receiver no matter which round. They love their receivers for some reason.
And their track record is probably the best in NFL history. Now, Marquez Stevenson, 5'10", 182. This guy would be a pure slot receiver at the next level. He'd be great slot depth behind Juju, man, and honestly could battle for the final wide receiver spot on the 53-man roster. But I'd even say, with his big playability on the field as a receiver and as a return specialist, I think he has a great chance. If we want to keep 5 receivers with Ray, maybe he can battle with Ray. Maybe we want to keep 6 compared to the 5 last year. This guy, I'd say, has a great chance. He could split with Ray in terms of on-field play and, of course, splitting time at special teams. This guy would be perfect for that. He's speedy, solid hands. He even has yak ability, and even as an added bonus, he's very familiar with pre-snap motion, which we all know with Matt Canada is a must. So Stevenson's a guy we like late if they do want to go receiver.
So getting a guy like Marquez Stevenson would be really, really solid depth at wide receiver.
Whether he makes the practice squad or the 53 is a guy that can build his way up for sure on the field, but definitely see time on special teams initially with his speed. So that's another guy I like and someone we're going to add there. To finish our the finale, SteelTwins 2021 Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft. Let us know your guys' thoughts and, of course, your mock drafts down below, man. The draft is almost here. We are a little over 24 hours away from the 2021 NFL Draft. And for those wondering, what are your guys' draft plans? Are you guys going to be streaming on the channel during the draft? We have some announcements to give you guys here. Now, for those that don't know, we will be in Pittsburgh for draft week for the NFL Draft specifically, which I'm excited for.
I'm pumped.
We've been wanting to get back to Pittsburgh ASAP. It's been I'd say about 2 years since we've been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we were supposed to go last year, but we all know what happened.
Yes, but nonetheless, we're going to be in Pittsburgh this year for the draft, which is going to be exciting. We'll even be there with Just Blaze 412. Huge shout out to him, and of course some family. Of course, we're going to be in Pittsburgh with them for draft week, and the night before the NFL Draft, before night 1, before Thursday night draft night, we'll be live on Just Blaze's channel with a pre-draft discussion discussing some prospects and what could happen for draft night, and of course for the Steelers, of course. And Thursday night, draft night, night 1, we will be live on Steel Jedi's channel. Huge shout to him. We'll be live on Steel Jedi's channel with some of the Renegades, of course, on Steel Jedi's channel. And possibly even be in and out with Just Blaze's stream as well, as he'll be streaming on his channel as well. And then night 2, we will be live streaming on this channel for night 2. So those are our Steelers NFL draft night plans, man, for draft week. So you guys can look very much forward to that. Again, we will be live Wednesday night, the night before the draft, on Just Blaze's channel. Link in description for pre-draft talk. Thursday night, we'll be live with Steel Jedi on his channel. Link in description, of course. Friday night, day 2, we'll be live on this channel. So
There you guys have it.
Draft is tomorrow, man. That's crazy.
I'm freaking excited. I am super darn excited. I really am. I am real excited to see who the next line of Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be. I really am.
And it's just here, man. It's going to be exciting. We hope the Steelers have a very successful draft. It's going to be fun, man. One thing, though, that they have definitely expressed all offseason.
Run the ball!
They got to. And I think they're going to. So I'm excited. This is a very stacked class this year. So let's see if the Steelers can absolutely strike another gold mine of a draft like they have the last few years. So Colbert, Tomlin, do your work. Do your best. Let's see what you guys got. Let's know you guys' thoughts and, of course, your marks down below, man. See you guys later on this week for the streams, man. And NFL draft, here we come, man. Pittsburgh, here we come. See you guys in the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!